Welcome. How you doing? This is another episode of Perspective from the Hispanic Latino. Today, I just want to talk a little bit about these officers that were assassinated. First of all, I just want to my prayers go out to their family. Man, I don't know what I would do if that was my brother or my father or you know, the wife's husbands, that's tragic, and that's I feel bad for their family, and I feel bad about this whole situation. It doesn't look like it's getting any better. But I just wanna talk about how I grew up. I grew up from a broken home. My dad and mom got a divorce when I was 9, and I didn't see my dad. He left. I didn't see him for a long time. My mom, she supported us. There's four of us, me, my brother, and my two sisters. And my mom worked. We didn't have a lot of money. We barely got by. We didn't know what it was to be poor, if you want to call it that. I mean, we had a roof over our head. We had food to eat. My mom took care of us, and my dad was gone. And me personally, I always was into trouble, even when my dad was there. I was like what you call in Spanish, you call it a travieso. Like Dennis. I don't know if you guys ever seen Dennis the Menace, but he was a little boy that always got in trouble, real mischievous. I was a little thief. From when I was little, I used to steal money out of my cousin's piggy bank. So I was always bad. I was always a little travieso, even when my mom and dad were together. But when my dad left, my mom went to work, and it just got worse. There was no supervision. So we all grow up like that. It's just and thank God, I God saved my soul, and I didn't die. A lot of people die, but I always was in trouble. I was in trouble, at a young age, man, 17, drinking and driving. I brought that on myself. It was my fault. It had nothing to do with a broken home. So I'm just me as a Hispanic, a Latino. I grew up in the barrio. I grew up, in not so good neighborhoods. I used to party in not so good neighborhoods. There's a few times where I almost got killed. But I didn't never use that as an excuse. And when I was young, my father, he hated police. He hated police. But one thing my father understood is, hey, he understands that we're minorities. He had that. He was a Democrat, and he had that mentality, like the white people are against you, against him, and because he was of Latino descent, that they were against him. So he didn't like him. My dad went to the military. He was in the army. His first language was Spanish. Grew up in Arizona, and but he told us. He said to me. He said, if you ever get stopped by the police, you show them your hands and you listen to what they tell you to do. You don't argue with them. You keep your mouth shut, and you'll be all right. Because in his mind, he thought that they're looking for a reason to shoot you, which. Now, so I believed. I listened to my dad, and there's several times I got in trouble, and there's several times where I didn't do that. Where the cops were chasing me. It's called unlawful flight, and I did that a lot of times. When the cops would pull me over, I'd take off in my car and take off. And one time I got caught in a cul-de-sac, I jumped out of my car and I started running, and about 10 cops tackled me. My face hit the asphalt, and I had burns on the side of my face because of just them shoving me in the ground. They didn't know if I had a gun. Yeah, I could have had a gun on me. So And I remember I was 17 years old when they took me, when I went to jail. They put me behind the bars because I was underage. But I remember cussing at them, saying, spitting at them, and that was me. That was my fault. So what if I would have died that night? That would have been my fault. That's not the police's fault. They don't know who I am. So they're out there doing their job. Policemen, they're out there to serve and to protect. And this thing with Black Lives Matters or all this, to me that's a racial organization, just like La Raza. That's a racial organization too, because La Raza means the race. That means they're saying their race is superior than any other race. That's what La Raza means. So Black Lives Matter. That means that only Black Lives Matter. No, that's a bunch of bull. All lives matter. If you're a human being, we all bleed red. We all bleed blood. We all came from one place. I'm a believer in the Lord Jesus Christ. I believe that in the creation of man, Adam and Eve. That's what I believe. I'm a dogmatic believer in the Bible. So that's my perspective. When Barack Obama came out, he was at the funeral, and he turned it into, instead of this guy, man, he should be trying to bring the United States together. They say Donald Trump is a divider. I heard Hillary Clinton say, you listen to what Donald Trump says, that in his words, he's the most dangerous man, and he's trying to divide the nation. That's a bunch of bull. That's all she said. She made a broad statement, and there's no proof in that. To me, Donald Trump is bringing everybody together. But here's what we have in a president right now. He's a divider in chief, a liar in chief, a deceiver in chief. He's all three of those. And then now he's sparking up racism in his little things. When you're at a funeral, you talk about good things. You don't mention any bad things. When my father died, my dad was a bad man. He was the black sheep of his family, and nobody would have something good to say because my dad was bitter. He was a bitter man, and my dad didn't take no crap, man. He didn't take no crap from anybody. And so, when he would come, they'd say, "Oh shoot, here comes Frankie." Oh man, because my dad always had a bad attitude, But when he died, my uncle, his brother, said, "Hey, he told the whole family, I don't want to hear nothing bad about Frankie. If you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all." So in the same case with these police officers, the president, Barack Hussein Obama, went over there, and he couldn't just leave well enough alone. No, he had to bring up racism. He had to bring up about how the black people, that it's different when a white cop stopped. That's bull. That's a bunch of bull. I've been stopped by the cop and I've listened to what they say. They told me why they stopped me, and it was a valid reason why they stopped me. They didn't stop me. I fit a description. And you know what? Am I saying all cops are good? Heck no. There's bad in everybody. There's bad in every race. There is racism in every race. As long as human beings are on this earth, there's going to be racism. Black racism, white racism, brown racism, Indian racism, Arab racism, Muslim racism. So I'm tired of hearing about the blacks, man. The Black Lives Matters. No, you know what? There's a lot of black conservatives out there that are Christian men that understand this, and they understand it well. And our president should not be out there race baiting like what he said today, that our communities are being flooded with guns, and it's more easier for our kids to get their hands on a Glock than it is for them to get an iPad or a book. Why did he go and say that? Why did he have to say that? Instead of bringing them together and saying, hey, you know, these are my words to the United States, to our young kids. Hey, we have law and order. If you know, we need to put down our guns. We need to stop all this. We need to come together. We are all united. We all live under the United States of America, and we need to come together. And you youngsters, you guys need to learn how to respect authority, and you just need to listen. No, he had to go and make an excuse for them. Yeah, if my son came and did something, I'm not going to make no excuse for him. I'm going to say, hey, son, I'm going to give him some good, sound advice that would help him out in his life and that will protect him. This guy right here he's the one that is dividing, trying to bring division. And no, not trying. He's already brought division. Because everything that comes out of his mouth is pure evil, man. He wants to incite violence, man. And he grew up with the silver freaking spoon in his mouth, where his white grandparents raised him. That dude never spent one time in the hood. He was a spoiled, rotten freaking brat. He snorted coke. He smoked weed, and he admits it. So you know what? It just makes me mad. And then Hillary Clinton. You think that Barack Obama's bad? She's gonna be 10 times worse. This woman is straight out wicked. She's a murderer in more ways than one. She's taken everything that she does, everywhere Hillary Clinton goes, scandal follows her. She has not done anything that